Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and we are here with the penultimate episode of Amphibia, Season 3, Episode 17. And it is a double length episode. It is twice as long, and I assume it's still going to only be a single segment episode, too. Which means that it's technically 4 times as long. If you really want to be technical, which is insane. But yeah, this is going to be intense. We already know this. We can already tell because at the end of the last episode, the invasion has begun. All of the leaders of the rebellion were caught because Darcy, having Marcy's memories, anticipated the sneak attack and was able to capture everyone off guard, which obviously Andreas knew about as well based on his reactions to everything. And so they were taken along with all the armies and the palace and everything into the human world, onto Earth. The invasion of Earth has begun. Shit is about to go down. Anne has bought herself some time from being killed by Darcy by making them wonder if that would even work in restoring the power to the music box, to the gem. So she's bought herself some time to survive, but this invasion it's gonna be insane. No matter what, this episode's gonna be insane. I'm still thinking that maybe all of our friends in the human world, all of our friends on Earth that we met throughout the first half of the season, they're probably going to come back. And they're probably going to help with, I guess, Earth's side of the rebellion. But how this is actually going to go, I have no fucking clue at this point. Because I don't know how Anne and them are going to get out of Darcy and Andreas's clutches. I have no fucking clue. And I'm still wondering as well. It's like without everyone else there, without like all the rest of the armies that they had built up with them, it's like they're very, very underhanded right now. That's the wrong way to put it. That's the wrong word for sure. They're they're overwhelmed. They're overwhelmed right now because it's like there's Andreas, Darcy, all of their robot army and shit. It's like even with the help of those on Earth, even if like Mr. X and the government help out, it's like how are they going to stand up to this? Like seriously, this is genuinely frightening. Like it wasn't easy for Anne, the Planters, and the Boonchoys to take out just one of these robots. It took a lot of effort to take out even just one. So imagine an entire army of these things. Like that's going to be insane. It's just, it's not going to go well. It's just not. This is the end game. And I'm honestly really surprised that everything went to shit so quickly. And that the rebellion was basically proved useless in the end. But I mean, we still have our goal, and I assume obviously I assume they're going to succeed. Like I said before, there's a couple things, just like 2 things that I know about from here on out. And one of them is just based on I've seen screenshots of it, like a very specific scene. I don't have context for it. I just know that something happens involving the girls. And the other thing I know is about like the very, very end. And I know like one thing about it. So it's like, yeah, that's basically it. So most of this is going to be completely unknown to me. I have no idea what's going to happen. Um, but I'm also going to say this right now. We're finishing the season this week. That's I don't normally like to guarantee things because anything can happen, but I'm guaranteeing that. We're finishing the season, we're finishing the series this week. That is my goal, that is my plan. I will I will put this above other things. And it's not because I want to finish it so soon. Honestly, I really wish I couldn't, but I just know I am not going to be able to wait too long after this episode to see the final one. I know that I'm pretty damn confident on that. I can say that with a shit ton of certainty. Um, and at the same time, I feel like I don't, even though I'm splitting these up between two videos, I feel like I don't want to wait too long anyway for these final two episodes because it's basically going to be a two-parter. There's going to be a big cliffhanger. There has to be. That just has to be how it goes. And I mean, technically, I guess it's a three-parter if you include the last episode too. But still, you know what I mean, because there was a big cliffhanger on the last one too. But you know there's going to be another one. Something big is going to happen, and there's going to be a big cliffhanger to leave it off on before the final episode. And this is going to be insane. So if there's points during this that I'm just not talking, it's just because I'm going to be so invested. So keep that in mind. Either way, let's just get this going. Why waste any more time? Let us truly start the finale. So, when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then it fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. All in went all out. This was climactic as fuck. Like, if you had shown me this without context and told me this was a theatrical movie, I would have believed you. This was a phenomenal follow-up to the setup that last episode gave us. Even without having all of the army that we've built prior, we had, like, everyone we had met in the human world during the first half of this season coming back to help fight and help cheer Anne on and everything. And that's just as impactful. We had a lot that was impactful. The Herons being there, Andreas finally making good on his 1,000 years of bad. The initial defeat of the core, and the freeing of Marcy. Marcy being stuck in the core's fantasy and rejecting it and everything. It's like, it does make you wonder. Like, a lot of these, throughout the thousands of years that the core would have been in existence, maybe even more, there's got to have been a lot of Amphibia's best and brightest who were just like Marcy, who were forced into the core and were voided of their memories and everything. But unlike Marcy, a lot of them probably weren't able to escape. A lot of them probably got fully assimilated And probably no one else, I would even say, was able to break out of it like Marcy did. And Marcy was only able to because of her specific circumstances, the issues with her friends and everything that allowed her to escape from her fantasy. So it makes you wonder exactly how many minds are in the core, and how much, I guess you could say, pain, misery were put into that. How many people were not like would not be consensual to what the core is doing, basically. It's a valid question. And another question I have, now that Andreas has been defeated and is most likely going to die, I don't think he's going to survive this. Um, he's in really, really bad shape. And even if he did somehow survive, I don't think that he would remain as king. And if that's the case, Lady Olivia and Yunnan should take over. And Lady Olivia should specifically be the new leader, the queen, if you will, if you want to, if that term would still be used. Um, and Yunnan should be obviously her right hand, because obviously. um, but my wish would be that Olivia would take over as the leader of Amphibia. And we know Olivia would be a good leader. Like, we know that she would have the amount of responsibility necessary for that, that she's smart enough for it, that she's worthy of it. I truly believe she would be a great leader for Amphibia. So, yeah, she would be my pick to lead with Andreas defeated. Um, and Grime lost an arm in this episode, sacrificing it for Sasha. And it's like, Jesus fuck. It's like, I saw that, and it's like, outside of just the initial shock, like, my mind, like, you know how in those, in movies and shows and even games and stuff, like, something will happen that will trigger, like, this dramatic flashback to something similar from the character's past? I, no joke, had a moment like that. I saw Grime lose his arm, and my mind, like, I had a dramatic flashback in my head to Ruby Volume 3 and Yang losing her arm to protect Blake. It was so reminiscent of that for me, and it's just like this this war flashback kind of thing for me. It's like, Jesus fuck. Um, but if that means Grime gets an awesome robot arm, I would be all good with that. But the fact that he was willing to do that, he was very much willing to sacrifice his life if that's what it took in order to protect Sasha. It's like, yeah, you can see how much of an impact she's had on them. You can see how close they've become. They are like they are best buddies without a doubt. And we love Grime. Grime is awesome. He's funny. He's likable. He's a goofball. He's an absolute total nerd. Like, we love Grime. So yeah, seeing that, it's like it was well built up to, and it felt right. But it was also extremely shocking when it happened. And when Sasha got sliced in the back, it freaked me out. But seeing her be the one to defeat Darcy and free Marcy because of, her past and becoming a new person and everything was so fucking cathartic and perfect. It's like she needed to be the one to do that. Not because Marcy wronged her more than Anne necessarily, but because of her own past. Because of becoming a different person and choosing to step away from how she used to be She needed that. It was right for her to do that rather than Anne. Anne taking on Andreas, meanwhile, also made sense. Well, yes, you could think of Marcy taking on Andreas because of their connection. Anne is the main character, and Andreas is, in a way, the one of the main two villains. If Sasha's going to take on Darcy because of the meaning behind that and everything, then the other main villain has to be taken on by the main character. It just makes sense. And honestly, I think Anne taking on Andreas just works better. Especially with the confirmation in this episode that Leaf was a planter. Like that, it's just like with that confirmation, and probably the first planter, because she changed her name, so I assume she changed her name to Planter, and that's where the family line started. It said the stall said Lily, so Leaf changed her name to Lily Planter. Which, yes, there's a gardening joke there, obviously, but yeah, it's. I think with having that connection with Anne becoming a member of the Planter family, even if not by blood, still just as valid a member, and obviously with Andreas having a connection with the original Planter, it's like it makes sense. And also, based on that letter, oh yeah, Andreas and Leaf were romantic with each other. That's why her betrayal hurt so much. It wasn't just because of being friends, though that would obviously still be able to hurt really bad. But there was also very much a romance there. 100%. It's not even questionable. Like, yes, love can mean other things than just romance and everything. There are multiple different forms of love. But still, it's pretty obvious. Leaf and Andreas were a thing. And that does make what happened more tragic. And that does make a good reason for Andreas to give up and to turn on the core. It works. It makes it more meaningful and more powerful. Again, would still be meaningful and powerful if she were just a friend. But again, it means a little more here because they did have a more deep connection. So just the action in here, finding out that the Boon Choice were working with Mr. X and everything, which honestly, like, we saw when they left off, like, they were going to have a talk with Mr. X and were even saying, like, oh, we're going to tell you everything, and it's going to be long and boring and shit, and he's like, oh, great. But it's like, okay, so yeah, they probably told him everything, and that's why they were working together now. And they were anticipating stuff coming back, so there's that too. But seeing the scientist girls return, seeing just so much good. So much good. We got so much in this episode. Like I said at the beginning of these afterthoughts, all in went all out. It like Matt Braley and the team made sure that this was an epic episode. Being double length was or again, basically quadruple length if you only count a normal segment, was a very smart idea too. Because something like this needed more time. It needed to be able to breathe. It needed to be given the time it needed to truly capture the feelings and emotions of all these characters and conclude a lot of storylines and to close out a lot of important plot points. Also, dog might start barking in a second, just like you know. No, I guess not. Okay, someone was delivering some packages from Amazon. But, yeah, the emotional weight of this needed this extra time. So I very much agree with that. But the thing is, it's not over. And it was very obvious it wasn't going to be over. Like, I'm not saying that Sasha couldn't have finished off the core. But it's very obvious that it wasn't going to end that easy. There's obviously going to be one last big moment from it. It's like with a horror movie like Scream. You always have to double tap. Always double tap, shoot him in the head. Zombieland talks about that too, of course. Um, you always have to make sure, because otherwise it's like, yeah, they're gonna come back. So we're gonna see what the Corps' final last stand is, and how our girls together are going to defeat it. This is going to be one hell of a finale. It's normal length, but it's still probably going to be only one segment. And both of the things that I know about have not happened yet. Like I said, something involving the three girls, which I knew wouldn't happen until after Marcy was freed. Again, I've seen a couple screenshots, but it's of the same moment, and I don't know the context exactly behind it, but I can guess based on what it is. You guys might know what I'm talking about. But then there's also something that like should be at the very, very end that I know about. And again, I don't know any context behind it. I just know it's a thing. So, yeah, this episode surprised the shit out of me in a lot of ways. It was epic. It was exciting. And pretty much everything I would have wanted to happen did. So, yeah, this was absolutely phenomenal. And next time will be the final episode, the ending of Amphibia. And yeah, it's going to be sad. It's going to be really sad for it to end. I'm probably going to cry. I already teared up in this episode. I'm probably going to cry. It's going to be wild. But nonetheless, we're going to get into it. And we're going to do it this week. Like I said, we're not going to wait. I definitely can't wait on this. We're going to do it again this week. Maybe in a couple days or whatnot. And it's going to be great. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts on this episode, All In, of Amphibia. And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.